Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Fat Joe is sued for $20 million by his former hype man in an explosive complaint. They're taking Fat Joe down the same road they took P. Diddy. Sit back. I tried to tell y'all. Everybody sat back being quiet saying, oh, there's Diddy. I hate Diddy. I don't like Diddy. Diddy deserve everything he got coming. And I let him know that this was coming for you too. That's how they feel. It's a money grab, allegedly. That's how it's looking to me. Now, I've never heard of a hype man feel like he's entitled to the bag. Have you ever heard of a hype man feeling like he's entitled to the bag for yelling, you got to flow, Joe, you got to flow, Joe? You're not even on the record. You're just on stage. You get paid for what you do at the performance. You take that money and you make it work for you. It's called flipping the bag. You can't try and attach yourself to the bag, get mad when the bag blow, and you blow your bag, and now you come back 16 years later and you say, you owe me. Sit back, enjoy the ride. I'm going to break this down like no other because this is getting out of control. All right? All right, you know what it is. Federal RICO charges for Joey Crack. Now, this is in the civil avenue, but I want y'all to understand what is really going on before I get into the specifics of the case, and I'm going to break down the specifics of the case. Right now, they got him on civil RICO charges. What this lawyer has done, the same lawyer that got Diddy's black sitting in MDC, he laid out a RICO charge in a civil complaint. But what he does is he laid out a federal criminal RICO charge in a complaint. So that's supposed to put the pressure on the rapper or the mogul to surrender. But what the lawyer didn't calculate is that you have put all your eggs in a basket and done notified the federal government to go pick up these men. Diddy slipped because he paid the $20 million to Cassie in less than 24 hours when he could have used that $20 million for his lawyer fees for the criminal indictment that he knew was coming the way the civil complaint was written. The same as Joey Crack. Why would Joey give him $20 million right now when he's, if history presents itself, will be in a federal indictment. They trying to bring Pistol Pete in and everybody, and Pistol Pete been doing his own thing. And all of this is just crazy. Here's a hype man saying, right, let's ride. And then I got to get into the story, but this is just so crazy, right? Just picture this because we riding. Now, here's a hype man that done jumped in, and he said that he was forced to have sex with beautiful women 4,000 times. Forced. And he's a hype man on tour, feeling like a rock star's puppet. Let's get this right. But anyway, let's ride back. Now, to this complaint, former hype man alleges rapper engaged in sex acts with minors and coerced him into more than 4,000 actual acts in order to maintain the standard. So he's saying that Joey Crack said, yo, you gotta flow your seed. You gotta flow your seed to keep your standard. You gotta have sex with these 4,000 women. How many of y'all, let's put in the comments. How many of you men watching this now, or even females watching this? Now, if you could go on tour and get any beautiful woman you want just for being with the star. As we said back in the days, some used to say, I don't want to be the man. I just want to be the man standing by the man. I just want a little light. I don't need all the light. You know what I mean? So now the hype man is getting a little light, a little throwing at him. And now he's saying he was forced in order to do it. The lawsuit comes after the rapper sued, right? T.A. Dixon in April for slandering him on social media by claiming Fat Joe flew a 16-year-old girl across state lines. So that's where we at right now. So now, you know, I'm sitting here and the lawsuit come. Well, okay, so we got that. Fat Joe's former hype man, terrorist T.A. Dixon, has filed an explosive lawsuit in federal court claiming the rapper against the rapper on Thursday. Dixon alleging that his former boss, whose real name, hold up, man, where's it at? Where we at? Okay, Dixon alleging that his former boss, whose real name is Joseph Antonio Cartanega, engaged in coercive labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion. He psychologically coerced him to bust a nut and have sex with another female while he was on tour. That's what he's saying. Dixon adds that the hip hop star behind such chart toppers as What's Love got rich and famous while he and his associates deliberately suppress, silence, and erase Dixon's substantial creative, artistic, and commercial contributions, which were fundamental to Fat Joe's professional success and professional brand. He's seeking up to $20 million because he was the hype man. Y'all put in the comments, you think a hype man should be compensated royalties for shaking his ass on stage, for twerking on stage? I'm just asking you a question. You know what I mean? If that's the case, then the females in the videos, they should be compensated royalties from the record too, because they tail look a little better shaken than the males. You know, do you agree or don't you agree? Y'all put it in the comments. The complaint filed in U.S. District Court, the Southern District of New York, details so many disturbing claims about Fat Joe's alleged sexual relations with women, including minors, that it contains a trigger warning on the first page of the 157-page document. They wrote 157 pages of complaint directing the Federal Criminal Bureau of Investigation to get involved and put Joey Crack in handcuffs. That's what this is. Pay up or get in handcuffs is the way it sounds to me. That's my opinion. That's not anyone else's. Let's get that straight. For 16 years, Dixon served as Fat Joe's so-called hype man, a common figure in hip-hop who supports the artist by energizing the crowd and enhancing the overall performance. So do you think, let's take a ride. Got to take a ride. I don't see it on the screen, but we need to take a ride. Now, we taking a ride. Could you imagine Flavor Flav suing Chuck D, saying that he made him have sex with all those women and he made him do the first ever reality show, you know, Flavor of Love? I mean, and that's such a bad thing that he did Flavor of Love. Such a bad thing that, you know, he had sex with so many women and got so many kids, you know, from being a hype man. I don't understand. I'm really getting lost there. But y'all explain that. Do you think that Flavor Flav have a right to sue, you know, my man? And I know a lot of y'all say, oh, this black nigga look like Flavor Flav. Well, big round of applause to Flavor Flav. All right? Big round of applause to Flavor Flav. Because we already know the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Calm down, y'all. Let's relax, you know, because we're going to get the haters going to say, oh, you look like Flavor Flav. He look like Crunchy Black. Yeah, I look like all that. But I'm a proud black man that's teaching our people to avoid situations like this, to be on the lookout for situations like this, to not get involved in any criminal activity and do business straight. Is all I'm doing. Now, let's get back to this. He also contributed as a lyricist and background vocalist, and such hits as Congratulations, Ice Cream, and Money Over Itches. Now, so do you think that the Pips got a right to sue Gladys Knight and they was her backup singers? Somebody put it in the comments, because that's what that sound. Now, imagine, the Pips suing Gladys. I mean, somebody explain to me what is going on, right? According to the complaint, he had an unrivaled vantage point in to observe the rapper's offstage lifestyle. So they're trying to say that being he was a hype man, he saw everything and you could believe everything that he's saying because he had an advantage point in dealing with that. Dixon is represented by Tyrone Blackburn, who is also the lead counsel in a high-profile case against Sean Diddy Combs. This sounds like a duplicate of the complaint against Diddy, but they just replaced Sean Diddy Combs and put Joey Antonio Carnegie. You know what I mean? So y'all better watch out. I told y'all when this first came down on Diddy that it's not about Diddy. It's about the Diddy stimulus. Now, they trying to get the Fat Joe stimulus. They trying to get the bag out of Joe. Now, right, in February 2024, Blackburn filed a lawsuit on behalf of Diddy accusers Little Rod, which was also, by the way, for the record, thrown out of court. You know what I mean? But Diddy's still in court for the criminal complaint, because Mr. Blackburn wrote it up so lovely to let it be understood that he feels that he committed criminal acts under the federal law. All right. So now, right, alleging sexual assault, sexual harassment, and failure to pay his underlings. So in other words, this dude, TA, feels like Joey should have paid him a little bit more for fornicating with 4,000 females. Somebody let me know. 1 month later, Department of Homeland Security agents conducted raids at Combs' mansion in Los Angeles and Miami. Do you think the next raids from Homeland Security just may be against Joey Crack? Somebody put it in the comments to let me know. Dixon states in the complaint that Fat Joe forced him into humiliating situations, including sex acts performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if he refused to comply. In other words, I'm gonna leave your ass over here if you don't have sex with this woman over here in this foreign country. You know what I mean? And I'm going to hold your career back. You're not going to be nothing without me. I'm going to blackball you. By his own estimation, Dixon states in the suit that he was coerced into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing within the enterprise. You hear that word again? Same thing with Diddy, within the enterprise. Most shockingly, the suit claims that Dixon personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual relations with children who were 15 and 16 years old, and lists 3 such Jane Does, including a 16-year-old Dominican girl in New York who, in exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of a cell phone bill, would perform oral acts and other sexual acts on the rapper. So he paying phone bills to get head is what this dude is saying. Now, Minor Doe is a Caucasian female. Don't this sound a lot like Diddy? Didn't he have a Caucasian young minor female in his too? Don't this sound, they just took up there, they just switched names. Minor Doe in the is a Caucasian female and not a United States citizen. Wasn't that other girl like a Canadian? I don't know. Somebody put in the comments. Fat Joe began having sexual relations with Minor 2 when she was 15 years old after a concert overseas. Don't that sound like the Diddy situation? But this was at a concert here, over here. But I don't know. It just sounds a lot familiar to me. Defendant flew minor Doe 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions due to minor Doe 2's body being adolescent and not fully formed. Defendant paid to get her a Brazilian butt lift. Yo, this kid, this is a movie. You know what I mean? Yo, listen to this, man. Just so they say Joey Crack couldn't wait for the cheeks to develop naturally, so he went and said, I could afford it to slap a couple in there. You know what I mean? I don't believe that. I gotta say that. I don't believe that. But anyway, because like, look, let's ride. Could we ride? Now that we ride, could you imagine Joey Crack? Huh? He could get any girl he want, but this one girl ain't got no cheeks. We're not even gonna say she's a minor, but this girl has no cheeks, and he's gonna pay for it when he could just pick another one with cheeks. It's not like you regular fellas, you know. I said you regular fellas, you notice. It's not like you regular fellas that only have one choice, so you have no choice but to fatten the cheeks up. When you got Joey Crack money, P. Diddy money, Kanye West money, Jay-Z money, then, you know, you have your pick of the litter. You know, so you don't have to waste the money. And it's that little crumbs that it costs for the Brazilian butt lift. He could have got 10 other broads for the price of that. So let's just keep this moving, you know? According to Dixon, right? Defendant was in love with minor Doe 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife. Now that's supposed to piss his wife off. This dude, Blackburn, is a mother. The defendant paid all minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stop. So he took the minor overseas, is what they accuse him, if you believe he had these minors. He brought her to Florida and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife, the lawsuit states. So they say that he rented a condo around the corner to stash his side piece while he went home with his wife and crept to the side piece when he felt like playing with the side piece. In a recorded conversation, minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was for defendant, who was in his 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. And if you're that intelligent to know that, then why did you get involved in that? And is she talking from now, 15 years later, or for back then? Somebody put in the comments. Stay ready for subscribing. What up? All right. Now, Fat Joe is represented by celebrity criminal attorney Joe Tapacabina, who has defended everyone from A$AP Rocky and Donald Trump in high-profile cases. Now, Tapacabina responded to lawsuits, saying in the statement to Variety, the lawsuit filed by Tyrone Blackburn and Terrence Dixon is a blatant act of retaliation, a desperate attempt to deflect attention from the civil suit we filed first, which exposed their coordinated scheme to extort Mr. Cartanega through lies, threats, and manufactured allegations. So they sued Blackburn and this dude TA first, and then now they say that this is retaliation for their suit. But I mean, now they even brought Jay-Z's name back up because Tony Busby couldn't get him. So let's see where they're going with this. Tapacabina responded in the lawsuit saying that law enforcement is aware of the extortionate demand at the heart of this scheme. The allegations against Mr. Cartanega are complete fabrications, lies intended to damage his reputation and force a settlement through public pressure. That's what Joey Crack's lawyer is saying. Now, his lawyer is also saying Mr. Cartanega will not be intimidated. We have taken legal action to expose this fraudulent campaign and hold everyone involved accountable, the statement continued. Defendants in the suit also include Pistol Pete Torres and Richard Rich Player, despite who the complaint refers to as key associates in Fat Joe's criminal enterprise. Certain civil claims for violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act and the Racketeering Influence and Corruption Corrupt Organization Act, also known as the RICO, as well as related violations under New York and Florida state, including unjust enrichment, quantum merit, fraudulent concealment, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and money laundering. They said a whole bunch of crap that I don't even know the words of, and I know the law. You know what I mean? So that's when you know dude fish, when he just start throwing anything in there. Even the judge know when you start throwing the words in it, the judge himself got to go to AI. Then you know you done lost the case. The judge know you trying to be something you not. So let's stop it with these. What that crazy ass word? Quantum merit. Now who the hell know what quantum merit is? Put it in the comments. And I bet you not one person know it without Googling it, AI. So how did he expect the judge to know it? The suit additionally named Jay-Z's Roc Nation, claiming that the company which represents Fat Joe knowingly participated in concealing, transferring, and manipulating Dixon's ownership rights and royalty interests and sought to intimidate, harass, and obstruct the hype man's legitimate claims against Fat Joe's Torres and Just Spite. Now listen, man. What the hell does he think he's entitled to being a hype man? I ain't dissing homie or nothing, but dog, if I'm shaking my ass and twerking on somebody's stage for a nigga, and I'm getting all kinds of SCX, to me, that's a bonus in my world. You know what I mean? So I don't know how now you trying to bring, you know, the street world into the courtroom world to say that he forced you to have fun, party, drink champagne, smoke big weed, and have sex with women. Somebody explain this to me. I've been gone for 26 years. I don't know. When I left, Joey Crack was just starting out. He wasn't even Joey Crack. You know what I mean? He was just Fat Joe from the Bronx. You understand what I'm saying? He was doing his thing with Showbiz, AG. The night I got locked up, we was all supposed to meet up over at the sports bar in Tremont and Katona. You know what I mean? I ain't even talked to Fat Joe since I've been home. See, these are all dudes that I know personally from back then that I ran with. We used to be in the new disco fever down there with Show and A and all that with Fat Joe. That's how we ran with him. I come home, Fat Joe don't even give me a call. And now here it is, Fat Joe in trouble, and I'm still defending him because I can't allow a good man to go down. Fat Joe ain't even give me a shout out, ain't give me a call. But like I said, what I'm doing is not for me. I'm standing on morals and principles, and this is dead wrong what they trying to do to these men. Diddy ain't do nothing for me. And I know Diddy from before I went to jail too. Before he was Diddy, before the free calls, before the intern, I know Diddy. Before any of this even began, that's how long I've been gone. I come home, Diddy don't even give me a nickel to rub together. I'm not mad at Diddy, but I came up here to let y'all know because I'm standing on morals and principles that what they doing to Diddy is dead wrong, and they're gonna start picking off you rappers one by one. They put their hip hop police in to bring y'all down. They couldn't bring y'all down. They got Lil Wayne and a few rappers on gun charges, but it wasn't nothing to bury you for the rest of your life. So now they figured they got something new, and her name is RICO. Y'all better pay attention, man. And like I said, Joe ain't do nothing for me, so I don't give a crap what happened to Joe. Let's say that right off the rip. But as a man of honor and principle, Joe is a man of honor and principle. So on the strength of that, I gotta defend anything that I see that's smearing, you know, his character. You understand? Because Joe don't owe me nothing. Diddy don't owe me nothing. We just ran the same circles and partied together. But at the same time, if I was in their shoes and they were locked up, they came home, I would have looked out for them by any means. That's just me. But I'm not going to hold my morals on them. But I'm not going to let you disrespect his character either. You're just a hype man, my dude. Where they do this at? Oh, man. Now check it out. The complaint cites a whistleblower accountant who came forward last year, as well as recorded phone calls that helped paint the picture of the alleged misdeeds. The move comes after Fat Joe sued Dixon in April for slandering him on social media by claiming that the Bronx-born rapper who enjoys high-level political connections flew a 16-year-old girl across state lines for X. That suit also named Dixon's lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, claiming the pair tried to shake him down for a settlement, and that wasn't sitting right with Blackburn. And as a man, I got to defend Blackburn too. Blackburn said, hold up, you done fired a shot at me in the court. It's time for me to fire back because I ain't no coward. You know what I mean? And you fight my type of fight. You talking about in the court. You done, that's how Blackburn feeling. And you got to understand where he coming from. So they both have a point of view, but we don't need to bring the lies in it. You know what I mean? So now, according to the lawsuit, the defendants engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes in the effort to conceal their extensive wage theft. Right? I mean, they was robbing him for his pay, for his pay for twerking on stage. Artificially inflate Dixon's tax liabilities, expose him to unwarranted tax audits and penalties, and systematically obscure the exploiting of labor. Yo, he said a lot. You know what I mean? He said a lot. This is the right way to fight, Joe, through the system, is what they said. You can't fight him no other way. Dixon tells Variety in an exclusive interview, Joe think he's God. Joe thinks he's untouchable. Can you believe that? Joe thinks he's untouchable. Dixon's suit against Fat Joe goes much further than his social media posts and states that he endured a wide spectrum of sexual coercion, psychological control, forced exhibitionist, and surveillance-based humiliation, including being compelled to perform SES acts under observation, being filmed or directed by Joe in the presence of others. Tactics designed to control plaintiff's body, erode his anatomy and ensure silence. Yo, hold on, man. So you're trying, how good did this dude perform with a D game that he feel? Yo, hold on. This dude wants us to believe that his sex game is so good that Joe said, yo, you got to perform for me, dog. This is what this sound like. He said like he forced him, like he just had to have him. All the dudes in the entourage, you're telling me that you're the only one that, got some X and you was forced to do it. No one else wanted to do it, so you had to step in and take one for the team, or Joey Crack might do something. This is what you want us to believe? Does anybody believe this crap? If you on tour with Joey Crack and a couple of girls of age, way over age, come at you, you telling me that you not going to take it. Somebody put in the comments and let's stop this crap because I'm getting pissed the hell off, right? So now it adds these X-based abuse were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise culture of dominance and humiliation, enforced by defendant associates such as Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, and Wisconsin. Yo, this dude is, hey, yo, they done got a whole indictment written up again like they did for Diddy. This is a reenactment of the Diddy situation. Fat Joe can't tell you what to do, and I wouldn't want to get involved, tell you what to do, but hide your riches, because they coming for everything. You know what I mean? So watch how Diddy play out. That's where they trying to go with him. So for all you rappers that kept quiet and prayed on Diddy's downfall, no disrespect, 50 Cent. I heard your baby mama said you art her too. So don't think you immune. I pray to God it don't go that way. But I heard that girl say, dude, you keep that up. I'm going to burn you because you ard me too. All they got to do is say it, y'all. And once it's out there, social media run with it. And then the law come in. Come on, man, tighten up. In Thursday's complaint, Dixon claims that the activity took place on Market America's corporate yacht and at its mansion properties, where Fat Joe orchestrated repeated orgies. I thought it was said freak-offs, including plaintiff, female dancers, and minors defendants used. This is getting crazy. The lawsuit adds that Fat Joe used his status as a hip-hop star to compel Dixon and others into degrading sexual performance, often while Fat Joe watched, recorded, or directed the encounters. Yo, they painting Fat Joe as a Diddy right now. Who else is gonna be Diddy in the next 6 months that got the bag? Y'all put it in the comments who else you think is gonna be the Diddy. I'm waiting. Put it in the comments. You know, Dixon did not willingly consent to participating in these acts. So they say that Dixon didn't willingly participate in getting, oral or boning and brought back out in Wisconsin or over in Switzerland or wherever they said all that was that. Joey Crack forced them is what they're trying to say. Come on, man. Dixon did not willingly consent to participate in these acts. Instead, plaintiffs submitted solely out of fear of retaliation, which defendant repeatedly demonstrated would include financial punishment, professional sabotage, abandonment in foreign countries, or physical harm. The suit claims Fat Joe also issued vile death threats and witness intimidation via direct messages such as, "You love your family, right? You love your family, right?" And then he said, "Fall back in 48 hours and we'll let you live." Fall back in 48 hours and we'll let you live. Now, through Fat Joe hobnobbed, right, meaning rubbing elbows with some of the biggest names in politics, including Vice President Kamala Harris, there was at least one brush with scandal back in 2010. Now, he and members of his entourage were detained and questioned after a University of Wisconsin student reported an alleged sexual assault following a performance at the city's Orpheum Theater. Now, at that time, right, Fat Joe's attorney called the woman a pretender, a groupie who was attempting to shake down the rapper for money. Now, y'all heard this. Y'all tell me this don't sound like a duplicate of Diddy, and who do you think is going to be next? Make sure you subscribe to my daughter's YouTube channel. It's right there on the screen. Juanita, Mecca Audio, Unique, Mecca Audio Prison Stories. I put all the prison stories over there so it's easier to get to them. Let's keep it moving because we out of here. All right?
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. Mecca Audio, Mecca Audio, Mecca Audio, Mecca Audio.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops. Mecca Audio. life.